So, good afternoon, friends, and through you, allow us to introduce ourselves first. I'm Member of Parliament for the Lumezi constituency, Secretary General of APNAC Zambia chapter, with Honorable Fube. Shilubi, Member of Parliament, APNAC member of, he's also a member in APNAC. Colleagues, this press briefing that we're having is not going to be long. We want to communicate with our friends at Anti-Corruption Commission through you. And we hope that from here you can equally go and help us get a statement from the Anti-Corruption Commission. Remember, we've been consistent with the way the hunting concessions were handled. The ACC has never issued a statement. We are worried with the trend that ACC is setting. Right now, we have received information, solid information, that the current Minister of Finance, Honorable Musotwane, together with the current Minister of Infrastructure and Housing Development, Honorable Milupi, have been appearing at the Anti-Corruption Commission secretly. Initially, when the call-outs were sent to the two senior cabinet ministers, they avoided going to the ACC so that they could be questioned. And our sources are telling us that they're being investigated for having received $250,000 each from a named firm. That money was through a bank transfer, and we know that State House is aware of this investigation, but we do not know why ACC is not updating the nation on where they are with the investigations. Fellow citizens and colleagues, we've also received very disturbing news that Engineer Kutawala is involved in having transferred some amounts of money 2 days before his appointment as board chair through a bank transfer again to Honorable Charles Milupi. And the ACC are following up on this matter. He's also been appearing at the ACC, but they don't want it to be known to the public. We feel that the fight against corruption should not be done in secrecy. We as APNAC members and members of Parliament are supposed to, in fact, work hand in hand with the ACC. So we challenge the ACC to tell us why a matter that they have been handling for more than 2 weeks is not being availed to the public. Information is being guarded secretly. We don't know, maybe it's the reason that the board chair of the ACC today, in today's News Diggers tabloid, said in the next few weeks you'll be seeing the current corruption fight. But we demand that the ACC should come out clear on Honorable Charles Milupi and Honorable Musotwane. If the ACC does not tell us where this money came from, we shall name the contractor who transferred that $250,000 to each one's account. We shall name the contractor. We have the information, but we are giving them a benefit of doubt to tell the Zambian people how far they have gone with the investigations. Fellow citizens, macro oceans that the government created has given the tolls to run on the Lusaka-Ndola dual carriageway is a special purpose vehicle that is not bringing a cent to the Zambian government. 90% of that road is being financed by the Zambian people. So what is this SPV, macro oceans? saving? Whose interest is it saving? A normal PPP project would have demanded that money from NAPSA, workers' compensation, goes to National Road Fund, and National Road Fund collects the toll fees. That was going to be the normal approach. These macro oceans, what is it that they're bringing on the table? Who are they? Are they the ones that transferred the money? ACC should come out clear on this matter. If they don't, we shall go further to mention who released the 3 million kwacha over a certain new road that was done. That road is less than 1 kilometer. It's leading somewhere. And we know, again, Engineer Muchand Kutawala has a role to play. So we are asking the ACC to address the Zambian people on this matter without any delays. Information is filtering through, and the ACC should know that they're dealing with a well-informed citizenry. You cannot afford to hide information for more than 2 weeks. Thank you. Honorable Fuwe, do you want to say something?
Yes. Building on what Honorable Miyazuru said, corruption, as you may know, is petty. Corruption is also institutional. Corruption is also grand corruption. And given those definitions of corruption, the ACC is aware that corruption, their creation is to fight corruption to protect public resources. If by any chance such transfers happened, it means that the people would have received the money to perform a particular duty. And this particular duty is more of self-centered, it's egocentric. It's meant to benefit those particular individuals who have received the money. If that be the case, it means that we are already talking about both grand corruption and institutional corruption, not really petty corruption. Because even the amounts involved, going by our economy, $250,000 in our economy currently is not small money. I think you can do your maths. You'll find that that is quite big money. Apart from that, what favors? Because money cannot just be received like that. They are not relatives. They are not their friends and the like. Or what deal did they do for them to receive their money? When we receive money through accounts, it's either you have done a business transaction or you have done something. And if indeed there are some investigations that are going on and they are done in secrecy, one thing and one value that helps the anti-corruption to fight corruption is the third force, the people. Public pressure also is very important in this case. And that is part of the transparency. Because when you are investigating a public officer of the standing that Comrade Muniri has talked about, it's not a simple issue. You are talking about a minister of finance, you're talking about a minister of infrastructure. If you pick your cabinet chart, you know that those are very high-ranking ministers. So if they are very high-ranking ministers, it also means that their proximity to the president cannot be doubted because they control the resources of the nation. They also control big, projects for the nation. The other one finances, the other one identifies what should be done. So, if this kind of scenario is really happening, it is indeed within the spirit and hope of APNAC, especially that naturally, as my brother did state, that anti-corruption is supposed to be our brother in the fight against corruption. And as we provide the reasonable voice within the parameters of Article 60, 61, and 62, which empowers us to do an oversight role on the executive, we are just doing that. And we know that APNAC may not be mainly enshrined, it's a parliamentary caucus, but it's a caucus that is meant to also blow the whistle. So literally what we are doing is blowing the whistle. But we are blowing the whistle in the direction where we have to say that anti-corruption should wake up, anti-corruption should give a statement. So we are giving anti-corruption as a public institution meant to fight corruption within 24 hours, in which they can issue a statement on the aforesaid transactions that have been done. And this should include Mr. Kutawala. This should also include anyone who is involved and who has been mentioned. Because we don't want, everyone is presumed innocent until they are proved guilty, according to our what I think that also tallies with Article 18 in the Bill of Rights. So when we are looking at these factors, we want transparency, we want accountability, and what we are looking at is a commitment from public servants like ours, and public servants like those mentioned ministers, who are holding very sensitive positions in government. We are not asking for too much. I think what we are asking for, this particular message is directed to Anti-Corruption Commission to pull up the socks, to honor, and they should issue a statement within 24 hours, so that we are not trying to coax them in any manner or coerce them in any manner. I think as citizens and the members of the parliament and the legislators, we have the right to demand that they hop to the game. The same measures they use, expose for those that are actually operate for now the overbeaten process of crime. Let them use the same measure. In any case, this now involves direct transaction of cash. So if it involves direct transaction of money, we don't need to look and wait for the house to be built. That's when we are going to pounce on that house. This one, possibly, I don't want to talk about different kinds of evidence. Comrade Mulini is likely to blow the whistle that have gone legalistic. But what it is that we demand for transparency from the anti-corruption itself. Because it's a wing that we trust, it's a wing that we expect that it is going to expose abuse of public office. And we smell abuse of public office in this particular case. So the ball is in their hands. We will wait up until 24 hours. You can count, Piri and other people you can count from this hour. This should be around 17 hours. So we will count another 24 hours. If we don't have a statement, we'll come back to the media. And I think do our own course of action as citizens and legislators, and especially as applicants.
Just in conclusion, you see, this regime promised the Zambian people that anyone suspected of being involved in corruption, they will not be allowed to be in office. We want them to practice that which they preached before they formed government. The onus is on the Anti-Corruption Commission to tell the Zambian people the truth. They cannot afford to conceal this information for this long. We know the source of that money. Should ACC not tell us, we shall name the contractor. For now, help us to deliver this message to the ACC. Thank you.